This is Limitless for the Samsung S26. So let's get into all of the features of the case. As you may have noticed, the camera bump design is different this year. We've hugged it closer to the S26 camera bump, and you can see that with the case on the phone here, and you can also see it compared to our Samsung S25 design there. And we've done that to add extra security and ensure that we're only covering the camera bump where is required to give that extra layer of protection. We've also increased the raised edges on the camera bump, which you can see here, but it only exists on half the camera bump because that's all that's necessary to protect the phone, giving the phone a much flatter, sleeker profile everywhere else. And that means that even when the phone hits the ground in this way, the camera lens won't make contact with the ground. Really nice ergonomic grip ribs on the side, work incredibly well for keeping grip in your hand. Almost just glides the phone into your hand into that perfect position because of the way they're designed. We've changed the way the buttons exist this year to make them far thinner and to have the TPU around the outside more rigid and thicker. The reason for this is that we have had some customers seeing issues with warping at the side. We have a lifetime guarantee on our cases, so don't worry about that, but we still want to improve it. So these thinner buttons and enhanced TPU around them mean that this case is far less likely to warp, and it also keeps it more rigid, making it more protective. We have the corner bumps on the side to add that extra layer of protection, whilst allowing these cases to be 25% thinner than our previous iteration of Limitless. And then coming into the case with the AiroShock lining at the top and the bottom, it absorbs the impact when your phone hits the ground, which would otherwise transfer into your device. And it's a massive part of what makes this case so protective. We have lanyard holes on the side, so you can attach a mouse wrist strap or sling. We've redesigned the magnet array in this cases, and what we've tried to do here is just perfect it for what Samsung do for their phones, ensuring you won't have any issues with other parts of functionality of your Samsung, and also ensure really strong magnetic hold, both MagSafe compatible as well as Qi 2 compatible. We have this heat stamped microfiber lining to protect glass backs. It's a soft impact absorbing material, meaning that you're far less likely to scratch or break glass backs if there's dust or debris. Not only have we changed the button design and ensured that this part of the case is far more rigid, we've kept the clicky buttons, so when you've got that on the device, it just feels so nice. For anyone that has used clicky buttons versus other forms, it's a small detail, but it's just so good. And then the final thing I want to talk about within this case, which is how rigid they need to be. One of the biggest causes of a phone breaking is the phone popping out of the case and the case not being rigid enough to really absorb that impact and stop torsion and twisting. So for Limitless, we make it as rigid as possible. So that is incredibly unlikely to happen. You know, if you have a mouse case, it's quite hard to pop our cases in and out, but there's good reason for that because it's a massive part of what makes this case so protective. And in this case, whilst it's similar to the S25, we have made some improvements to how rigid this is. And the easiest way to show this is by showing the PC construction when you strip the case back. Added to the overmolding of TPU is really what makes this case so rigid. And if you see these holes in the side of the PC construction, we have designed it so that the TPU flows in and out of these holes, creating an interlocking bond that ensures your case stays extremely rigid as well as firmly together. One of the biggest issues with cases on the market is side splitting, where basically the back will split from the sides. But the way that we've designed this, and we spent years trying to perfect it, means that our cases will never do that. The thing that I would most want to get across with Limitless, but this applies for all our cases, is just the amount of work that goes into this. Even trying to make these small optimization and tweaks every year is something that our team dedicate themselves to, and it's the reason we're able to make such high performing products. These cases are made with over 38 individual parts. They're made with real materials like the black leather, like the walnut, like the aramid fiber. There is so much debate, consideration, refinement, and testing that goes into these cases, and that's just a massive reason why they are able to perform in the way that the content team then go and use them, and you'll see them in the ads. So just to demonstrate the magnetic accessibility, this is our active cooling car mount, one of our latest and most advanced magnetic accessories. And what it means is that with any mouse case that you buy for your Samsung, you can really easily attach these magnetic accessories to the case. If you want a car mount or you want a wireless charger, this is our wireless charging stand. Just pop that on and it works seamlessly.